What if the reason you haven't found gold yet isn't bad luck, but simply that you never learned where to start? I've spent a lot of time outdoors, watching streams, walking slopes, standing on rock that most people never give a second look. And here's something I've noticed over and over again. Most people don't fail because gold isn't there. They fail because they start in the wrong place. They dig where it looks exciting. They chase shiny rocks. They follow stories they heard from someone's cousin who knew a guy who once saw gold. I've done that too. We all have. And usually the result is the same: sore hands, wasted time, and a very impressive hole in the ground that contains absolutely nothing. The truth is, experienced prospectors don't dig everywhere. They don't even dig first. They check. They look at the land and ask a simple question. Does this place make sense? Because gold doesn't reward effort alone. It rewards starting in the right spot. That's why in this video, I'm not going to tell you where gold might be if you're lucky. I'm going to show you the first 5 places you should always check. Places that follow geology, gravity, and common sense. Think of it as a shortcut. Not to getting rich, but to not wasting your time. And if you've ever stood by a stream, on a slope, or on hard rock and thought, should I check here, or am I just guessing? You're exactly who this video is for. Let's start with the first place, the one almost everyone walks past, and the one gold understands better than most people do. Let's start with place number 1, the inside bend of a stream. This is where almost everyone gets it wrong. Most people walk up to a river or creek and think, fast water must mean more gold. It sounds logical, it feels exciting, and it's usually a waste of time. Here's what I've learned the hard way. Gold does not like chaos. Gold likes calm. Water moves fastest on the outside of a bend. It hits hard, cuts deep, and keeps everything moving. That's great if you're erosion. Terrible if you're gold. Gold is heavy. It doesn't want to fight fast water. So when the current reaches a bend, something happens. The water slows down on the inside curve. And when water slows down, heavy material starts to drop. Sand drops, gravel drops. And if gold has passed through, gold drops too. I've watched people stand on the outside bend, shoveling like their life depended on it, while the inside bend, quiet, boring, unimpressive, sat there untouched. And yes, I've been that person. The inside bend doesn't look exciting. It doesn't splash. It doesn't roar. It just works. When I check an inside bend, I'm not looking for nuggets right away. I'm asking small questions. Is the water calmer here? Is there gravel instead of fine sand? Do I see darker material, like black sand? If the answer is yes, I slow down, because that's usually where beginners rush past and where gold quietly waits. Here's a simple rule I always remember. Fast water carries gold. Slow water keeps it. If you remember only one thing from this section, remember that. In the next part, we'll move just a few feet away to another place people ignore for the same reason. It doesn't look exciting, but geology doesn't care about excitement. It cares about physics. Place number 2 is right behind large rocks and natural obstacles. And this is another spot people walk past without a second thought. When most people see a big rock in a stream, they think, just a rock. Then they step around it and keep going. Water doesn't think that way. When fast-moving water hits a solid obstacle, it has to slow down. It splits, it curls, and right behind that rock, something important happens. A calm pocket forms. That calm pocket is where heavy material gets a break from the current, and when heavy material gets a break, it drops. I've seen people dig upstream of a rock, downstream of a rock, and somehow skip the one place that actually makes sense, right behind it. I used to do that too, mostly because it felt awkward to reach in there, and because, honestly, it didn't look special. Gold doesn't care how it looks. If the water slows down, gold pays attention. The best obstacles are the ones that actually interrupt the flow. Big rocks, boulders, fallen logs, clusters of stone. Tiny pebbles don't count. If the water ignores it, gold will too. When I check behind a rock, I look for a few simple signs. Is the material coarser here? Do I see gravel instead of soft sand? Is there darker material collecting in that calm spot? If the answer is yes, I test. And here's a personal rule I've learned. If water bothered to change direction here, gold probably noticed as well. In the next part, we'll step away from the stream itself and talk about a place gravity loves just as much as water does: the bottom of slopes. Place number 3 is the base of slopes and natural low points. This one is easy to understand, yet somehow still ignored. Gravity is simple. Everything moves downhill. Rain doesn't ask permission. Loose material doesn't vote. It all goes down. And when material moves downhill, the lighter stuff travels farther. The heavier stuff stops sooner. Gold is very heavy. That means gold rarely ends up halfway up a hill. It doesn't hang out on ridgelines, and it definitely doesn't climb uphill on its own. I used to waste time checking higher ground, thinking, maybe this is where it came from. Maybe, but that's not where it stops. Over time, I learned to stop looking up and start looking down. The base of a slope is where gravity finishes its work. It's where runoff slows. It's where heavy material finally gets a chance to rest. What I look for are natural low points, small dips, shallow gutters, places where water funnels during rain. You don't need a flood, just enough water to move material repeatedly over time. After heavy rain, these spots quietly reload. Sand moves on, small stones settle, and heavy minerals stay put. Here's a mistake I see beginners make all the time. They walk right through low ground without noticing it because it looks messy, muddy, and uninteresting. That messes the point. Clean, flat ground usually means nothing stopped there. Messy ground often means something did. I always ask myself one question here. If I were heavy, where would I stop? If the answer is right here, that's where I slow down and check. In the next part, we'll talk about a place that doesn't move at all and why gold is obsessed with it: hard rock, bedrock. Place number 4 is exposed bedrock and its cracks. This is the point where gold stops being polite and starts getting serious. Gold doesn't like loose soil. It doesn't trust it. Over time, gold works its way downward, through sand, gravel, and dirt, until it hits something solid. That solid layer is bedrock. Most people see bedrock and think, well, that's too hard to deal with, and they walk away. Gold does the opposite. Gold walks toward bedrock, because bedrock is the final stop. Nothing sinks past it. Now here's the important part. Smooth bedrock is fine, but cracked bedrock is gold's favorite. Cracks, grooves, natural lines in the rock. Those are nature's riffles. When water moves over bedrock, gold slides along the surface until it drops into a crack. And once it's in there, it's not in a hurry to leave. I've ignored bedrock plenty of times in the past, mostly because it looked boring, and because checking cracks takes patience. Gold rewards patience, not enthusiasm. When I check bedrock, I look for 3 things: cracks that run across the water flow, not with it, rough texture instead of smooth polish, and heavy material, black sand, caught in those cracks. If I see all 3, I stop guessing and start paying attention. Here's a simple truth I learned late. If you find gold in a stream, bedrock is involved somewhere, even if you can't see it yet. In the next part, we'll talk about a place that isn't even part of the modern stream, but often holds gold that's been waiting much longer. Place number 5 is old stream channels and flood zones. This is where things get interesting and where patience really pays off. Rivers don't stay in one place forever. They wander, they shift, they cut new paths and abandon old ones. But gold doesn't move as easily. When a river changes course, most of the lighter material goes with it. Gold often stays behind. That means an old stream channel, even one that looks dry, quiet, or forgotten, can still hold gold long after the water has moved on. I've walked across old gravel bars far from any flowing water and thought, why is this here? That question is usually a good sign. Rounded stones on high ground, gravel where it doesn't seem to belong, black sand away from the modern stream. Those are clues that water used to be there. And where water used to be, gold may still be. Flood zones work the same way. During heavy floods, rivers spread out. They slow down. And when they slow down, heavy material drops. Once the water retreats, gold doesn't follow it back. Now here's the part where people go wrong. They look at a dry area and say, there's no water here, so no gold. That's like saying, there's no road here, so no one ever drove through. Gold has a long memory, much longer than ours. When I check old channels or flood zones, I don't expect easy finds. I expect quiet ground that most people have ignored for a very long time. And sometimes that's exactly why it works. In the next part, we'll step back and put all 5 places together, so you know how to choose which one to check first instead of trying to check them all. Now let's step back and put everything together. Because knowing 5 good places is helpful, but knowing which one to check first is what actually saves time. Here's the honest truth from experience. You almost never check all 5. You choose. And the way you choose is simple. You stack clues. I always ask myself a few questions. Is there moving water now, or was there water here before? If yes, I'm interested. Does the water slow down somewhere? An inside bend? Behind a rock? A low pocket? If yes, I slow down too. Is gravity involved? A slope? A low point? A natural funnel? That's another check mark. And finally, is there bedrock nearby? Because if gold is anywhere in this system, bedrock is part of the story. What I don't do anymore is chase every shiny thing I see. I don't dig just because a spot looks exciting. I've learned that exciting usually means noisy water, and noisy water is great at carrying gold away. I've also learned that the best places often look boring. Quiet water, ugly ground, hard rock, places that make you think, why would I check here? That thought is usually the signal. And here's a bit of humor. Learn the hard way. If a place makes you sweat immediately, you're probably doing it wrong. If it makes you stop, think, and observe first, you're probably on the right track. So remember this. Gold doesn't reward speed. It rewards understanding. Once you know how water moves, how gravity works, and where heavy material wants to stop, you stop guessing. You start choosing. And that alone puts you ahead of most people who ever try. In the final part, I'll leave you with a simple checklist. Something you can remember easily even when you're standing knee-deep in cold water, wondering whether this spot is worth your time. Before we finish, I want to leave you with a simple checklist, not something complicated, just a few questions you can actually remember when you're standing out there, staring at the ground. Here it is. First, does this place make sense for slowing water down? If the water never slows here, gold won't either. Second, is gravity doing some work for me? A slope, a low point, a natural funnel, anything that helps heavy material stop. Third, where is the bedrock? Because sooner or later, gold wants to touch something solid. Fourth, do I see heavy companions? Black sand, coarse gravel, material that looks like it doesn't want to move. If you can answer yes to 2 or 3 of these, that spot is worth a closer look. If the answer is no to all of them, that's not bad luck. That's information. And one last personal note. Don't rush. Don't dig first. And don't believe every shiny thing you see. Gold has been sitting in these places for thousands, sometimes millions of years. It will still be there while you take a moment to think. And if you walk away without finding anything, that's fine. The real win is that you now understand the land a little better than you did before. If this video helped you think differently about where to start, consider subscribing. And let me know in the comments, what kind of terrain is around you? Streams, hills, bedrock, or flat ground? Because once you know your environment, you know where to look and where not to waste your time. Thanks for watching.